Joseph, From Prison to Palace, the story that will restore your hope. Bible verse Genesis 50:20 KJV. But as for you, ye thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good. The story. Imagine having a dream so great that it seems impossible. Now imagine watching that dream fall apart. This was the story of Joseph. Joseph was the beloved son of Jacob. One day God gave him dreams showing that he would one day become a great leader. But when Joseph shared those dreams, his brothers became jealous. Their jealousy turned into hatred. One day, while Joseph was visiting them in the fields, they attacked him, threw him into a deep pit, and sold him to traders heading to Egypt. To hide their crime, they stained Joseph's coat with animal blood and told their father he had been killed. Joseph lost his family, his home, and his freedom, but he never lost his faith. In Egypt, Joseph became a servant in the house of Potiphar, an important officer of Pharaoh. Whatever Joseph did, God blessed him. Soon he was placed in charge of the entire household. But another trial came. Potiphar's wife falsely accused Joseph after he refused to sin against God. Though innocent, Joseph was thrown into prison. Everything he had worked for seemed to disappear once again. Yet even in prison, Joseph remained faithful. God gave him wisdom to interpret dreams, and soon he became trusted by the prison keeper. Years passed. Then one day Pharaoh had troubling dreams that no one could explain. Joseph was brought before the king. Through God's wisdom, he revealed that Egypt would experience 7 years of abundance followed by 7 years of famine. Pharaoh recognized that God's Spirit was with Joseph. In a single day, Joseph went from being a prisoner to becoming the second most powerful man in all of Egypt. When the famine spread across the land, people came to Egypt for food. Among them were Joseph's own brothers, the same brothers who had betrayed him. They stood before him without recognizing who he was. Joseph had every reason to seek revenge, but instead he chose forgiveness. With tears in his eyes, he revealed his identity and said, "Ye thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good." What people intended to destroy became the very path God used to save many lives. Motivation for life. Life doesn't always make sense. Sometimes the people you trust hurt you the most. Sometimes you do the right thing and still suffer. Sometimes it feels like your prayers are unanswered. Joseph experienced betrayal, slavery, false accusations, and years of waiting. Yet through every painful season, God was quietly preparing him for a greater purpose. The pit was not the end. The prison was not the end. They were simply part of God's process. Many people want the palace, but they don't want the preparation. God often develops your character before he reveals your calling. Your greatest disappointment may become your greatest testimony. When life feels unfair, remember Joseph. What looked like rejection was actually God's redirection. What looked like a delay was God's perfect timing. And what looked like defeat became an incredible victory. If you're in a season of waiting, don't lose hope. Keep trusting. Keep working faithfully. Keep honoring God even when no one notices. Because God is still writing your story. The chapter you're living in today is not the final chapter. Just as God lifted Joseph from prison of the palace, he is able to turn your pain into purpose and your trials into triumph. Life lessons. God is working even when you cannot see him. Betrayal does not cancel God's plan for your life. Faithfulness during difficult seasons prepares you for greater blessings. Forgiveness brings freedom to your heart. God's timing is always better than our own. Closing verse, Romans 8:28, KJV. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose. No matter how difficult your journey may seem today, remember this. God can turn your deepest pain into your greatest purpose, just as he did for Joseph.